Welcome to the Reinvention Game, where we explore the turning points in people's lives when they realized they needed to let go of one dream and begin anew. I'm Marta Ruszczyńska, and today I'm excited to speak with my really good friend Adam Chan, a former tennis player who faced multiple injuries throughout his career and had to make the tough decision to step away from the sport he loved. Adam's story is one of resilience. He went from playing college tennis at Fairleigh Dickinson University, where we met, to becoming a coach at Stetson University and Columbus State University, where the team he supported won the nationals. He then moved back to the UK, where he now works in operations planning at British Airways, where he just got promoted. So congratulations, Adam. He's here to share with us how he navigated these transitions and found a new path. So Adam, thank you so much for being here with us today. I know it's not the easiest since we have a 6-hour difference, but we made it. So I'm really glad it worked out.
Thank you for the really kind introduction, and thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
So Adam, let's start from the beginning. When did you first fall in love with tennis? How did that whole journey started? And what were your aspirations during your early tennis career?
Tennis is quite a funny one for me because I was introduced to it through my dad. Through marriage, he gained a substantial amount of weight, as most men do, and he had free membership through his work. And as he was going to the gym, he sort of walked past these tennis courts, and all you saw these kids running around hitting tennis balls, being active. And at this point in my life, I am this little chubby Chinese kid who comes home from school and just sits there in front of the TV watching Cartoon Network. And I remember it really vividly. It was channel 27. I come home, sit down, 27, watch that, all good, have dinner, and that's fine. So my dad goes and see these kids sort of running around and being idiots. Goes, my idiot son can do this. I'm going to sign him up. So he signs me up. No more Cartoon Network anymore after school. Just go and play some tennis while he goes to the gym. And it turns out I'm a bit more coordinated than the other kids. I can actually hit a ball. I've got a bit of technique. I've picked it up. And so these group lessons turn into individual lessons. Individual lessons turn into the idea of maybe competing, travel from these club coaches to more regional coaches, and from there I started to fall in love with playing the grind, and that's how I started playing tennis.
That sounds like it was fate. But what were your aspirations during your early tennis career? Like, did you have plans of becoming a superstar? Did you want to play Grand Slam, or was it every day it was just love for tennis and that's it?
I think when I was really young, I did want to go pro. I used to think about winning slams, and this is at the point where I was sort of coming up as a junior, ranked whatever, top 20 or something in the country. And I think when I was, at that age, you think you're the best, winning whatever tournaments you play, being the best in the region, and so on. But then as I grew up, I started to see the gap between myself and the pros. I don't know if it's me being realistic or me being a bit sad, but I think I realized then I was really good, but not good enough. Like I would play to a really high level, but I wouldn't be creating a legacy like Roger, like Rafa. So I think from that age of 16, I think I decided that I was going to take my tennis career as far as possible and be a good coach. So I decided that I'd go to college, learn about collegiate sports, and try and make a career out as a collegiate coach.
Okay, so that gap never really made you even like push harder or be like, okay, well, I still have so much more to learn, but let's keep going and just close that gap.
I think this is one of the issues with tennis, and I think Novak's spoken about this, and even to the point where he's sponsored a young junior who's quite promising. So kudos to him. But it's the amount of money that you need to travel to play week in and week out in different countries, because it's not cheap to travel, It's not cheap to have a coach. It's not cheap to have lessons. It does add up. And I'm really thankful for as far as my parents have pushed me with the resources that they had. But I don't think it could have competed with, for example, kids at my age who were going full time, being able to travel all around the world to play ITF tournaments. It just didn't allow me to progress in tennis that way. It's really good in England because I could stay, but the international part, I think that's where I lacked.
Okay. I know you had many, many injuries. Did that start already in UK or was it after you came to US?
I think it was mostly in the US because you play an unreal amount of tennis during college. I didn't really have many injuries growing up. I think that my worst injury was probably my growth spurt. And that was unfortunately when I was playing Road to Wimbledon. So I was on court 18, playing a match, and I'm not often playing on grass, so already trying to adjust to the height of the ball. I was playing against a guy who had an elbow injury, but the elbow injury meant that he served underarm, and the amount of work he was getting on the ball with these was unreal. And I had grown, let's say, like 6 inches in the last 3 months, and my back was in pieces. It hurt to walk. Having to bend down and try and get this ball up, it was aggravating. But that's probably my worst injury in the UK during college. And I tore my supraspinatus and labrum, so basically my entire arm during senior year decided I didn't want to stay attached to my body. I had an uncle who's a doctor. He looked at I think it's an arthroscopy where they put a camera on your shoulder and take pictures. And he looked at all the pictures and goes, "Okay, Adam, the only thing that's attached to your body right now is your bicep tendon. Now, if that decided to come off and there was a strong gust of wind, your arm would go with the wind if you relaxed." And I thought, wow, that is amazing. So yeah, I think America is probably the place where I got injured most.
Okay. That sounds absolutely disgusting. I'm sorry. But
It's all
I
right.
want to go back real quick to your really mature decision that you didn't have the financial capability to work hard, to, play even more and travel a lot and just being on that higher level. You made a really, really mature decision. Like, okay, I am not going to be able to do it. What emotions accompanied that decision? Like, did you have any fears? And yeah, how did that go for you?
I don't think I had any fears because I still had a direction. I think if I grew up and goes, I'm gonna go pro, I'm gonna go pro, I'm gonna be the best in the world, and that was the only thing that had driven me. And then I realized I couldn't do that. I would be, a little lost lamb, as it were. But during my career, and I'll reference my brother here, I really enjoyed helping him. I would be coached, and then whatever lessons I would learn, I try and tell him. And obviously, as little kids, you bicker and he thinks I'm trying to do better, whatever else, and. But ultimately, it was me trying to help him. That sparked, I think, a want and a desire to always try and help people. And even to date, I still love coaching. Coaching is a really fun aspect of my life. I'm always willing to help people on court and off court. It could be at work, it could be a different sport, whatever I know. I'm always willing to help. And I think at that age, I knew, okay, cool. We're not going to be the best player, but we could be the best coach. We could, that's something that you could make some money in, be it professional on the circuit, be it in college, or be it in the private sector. I think that's something I knew that I could do. So I had a direction.
Okay, so that was your plan B that kind of helped you stay afloat.
Mm-hmm.
So your first school that you went to was Fairleigh Dickinson University. How was that experience for you?
It was my first real time spending substantial amounts of time away from home. I had the opportunity to play in Spain through friend and a coach, and that was like a small stint away from home. But I think Fairley was the first time where I'd spend months and months away from home. So it was really eye-opening for me. Um, I am, as you know, a bit of a jokester. Don't take things too seriously. And I think I was too much of a joker back then. I didn't take things serious enough. It was eye-opening because opportunities were going past me that I didn't realize, but it was only until afterwards I realized that I had opportunities to do better or to be a better person or be a better athlete. So hindsight's 2020. So I'm thankful for for my time at Fairley because I wouldn't be the person I would be now without it. Like college sports is tough. The turnover and stuff is crazy, and the same with students, right? My first college coach left after 2 weeks of me joining there. I got a new coach who left the next year, and then I was brought in a third coach that I didn't see eye to eye with his philosophy of tennis. And so it's very easy for me to blame that and the school on my downfalls as an athlete and take that attitude outside of sports. But I think I can definitely be mature enough and own the mistakes that I had. I think during like my freshman year, I didn't train hard enough. I took my talent for granted. And then in our conference finals, we lost 4-3. And I think we lost my dubs and singles match as a freshman. And that was the only time we made conference finals in my 4 years. So I go from a junior where I could joke around and always make finals and win them to coming to college, making finals, still dicking around, and then actually losing because I didn't try hard enough through the year. I didn't take every tournament. I took them all for granted. I didn't warm up seriously. I didn't take the gym seriously. I took that year as a motivation to try and do my best. And I think I did better each year. I tried to shape the team and with others to be better, but always fell short. Like I said, I wouldn't be the person I am without the experiences I had at Fairley.
So I wanted to ask you, how did that time at Furley and having three different coaches, and many people may not know, but when you go to college and you play for a tennis team, you go from being a single player, you're just by yourself, and suddenly you have five other people that depend on you and depend on the win. So how did that make you feel? Like, how did you deal with that transition from going like, oh, I'm by myself, I can do whatever I want, and then I have other people who depend on me?
I think I really struggled, to be honest, because I have this attitude of I'm the best and everyone else is just less than I. And when people make decisions, I would look down on it and judge them and then think I'm better than them. And when you're playing as a junior, you can sort of get away with that type of mentality because it's a single sport, right? You're looking at your opponent going, I'm better than you. I'm gonna play cross line, whatever, these tactics, and then I'm gonna win. But you can't take that into the team sport because it's gotta be, okay, cool. I don't need to be the best. The team needs to be the best. I can have a failure if it means that the other five will succeed. And I really did struggle with all the coaching turnover, the lack of, I think, guidance to be the best teammate that I was. And I'll put my hand up. I don't think I was a good teammate for some time of my career there. But after I'd learned, I think probably getting into my junior year, I did try my absolute best to be the best for my team. And I think when I was given captaincy, and I hope that you can vouch for me, I did try my best for all my freshmen back then to guide them and create the best team culture through my own experiences.
Yes, I do remember Adam, his last year. He was very, very dedicated towards his team. That is true. So how those 4 years, because you came with the idea to us that, okay, I will be a coach, and that you got your graduate assistantship, right? And you were an assistant coach in first Stetson University and then Columbus State University. How 4 years in Fairleigh Dickinson helped you become a better assistant coach, and then how those two experiences, being a player and then assistant coach, helped you to become the best coach you're now?
I think my time at Fairleigh allowed me to see all sides of collegiate sports, both the good and the bad. And I was able to absorb, you know, the bad and try and say avoid, but obviously I've learned from it and seen that some positives can come from it and obviously some negatives. And then I've also allowed to see the good, and I've added my own little twist on things. And I think through my time of and slowly gaining more and more power from, player, captain, assistant coach, through my time I was able to reach the peak of collegiate sports and win a national championship during my final year. So yeah, it's just been so much learning through the collegiate system.
And so another big shift that you had in your life was moving from the US back to UK. Was your primary goal to just stay in the US to the rest of your life?
I think when I went out there, it was I wanted to be a head coach at some point, own a program, and I think the main part of it was trying to develop young adults to being good, responsible adults. Because when you're 18, it's your first time away from home, similar to myself. You can be a bit of a immature kind of person, but after 4 years with let's say, like a father-like figure, you can shape them. I really like that idea. And I was sort of catching up with my head coach at Columbus, and he said, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "I want to have a career out here, but I think once it comes time to having a family, I think I want to settle back home." And that's purely just like I think it'd be better for myself with the education system that I'm used to, healthcare that I'm used to. It's just a way of life that I'm used to. And he goes, "Well, your career and your family are intertwined. You can't come out here and coach and then travel back to England for your family." And it was really eye-opening for me because I thought, actually, you're right. Like, they are intertwined. Think about, your parents. They work and then they come home. And what am I going to do? Fly home every evening? It's impossible. Um, and it's quite conveniently timed because that conversation happened around the time that COVID broke out. And it was like, okay, cool. We going home, or we're going to sit in our flat for what seems like forever? You're going to be by yourself, or you're going to come back home to your family? You sort of made the decision for me. So it's like, I'm going to go home. I want to see my family. I haven't seen in like, the last 6 years properly. So,
Jesus,
yeah,
it's a long time.
a long time.
So would you say you were actually really happy about going home?
It was rough. I think I'd achieved, like, it was easier because I'd achieved the pinnacle of collegiate sports, winning a national championship, right? Not many people can say that. So I ticked a box, but I didn't for long enough. And I know that the opportunities that you get in college sports is few and far between. Like, you're not going to get any of that anywhere else in the world. We have university sports here in England. England's very developed with sports, but there is no scene like collegiate sports. You might have that in Germany with the Bundesliga, but again, it's not the same. So stepping away from that was sort of like watching your dream go away, because you can still play tennis, you can still coach, but you're not teaching kids like this. You're not having that level of interaction with them. So it was a bit tough.
So what did you turn to for the support? Your family, friends, therapy, or maybe something else?
I don't think I really. That's a really good question, Marta. I don't think I turned to any support. I think I internalized it and just, as any guy, just bottled it up, which probably isn't the healthiest. And this would be a great segue into a mental health sponsorship I don't have. Um, but yeah, it was a tough time that I dealt with a really unhealthy way. Am I still dealing with the fallout of that? Probably. But yeah, didn't have any support.
Well, it's time to learn how to deal, with tough times and maybe bringing some additional people into your life to actually help you. It's a really really important thing. I don't think internalizing is the best
Yeah,
idea, as you said.
no, you're right. I'm really thankful for my other half, my girlfriend, who brings that side out of me and I can lean on. So shout out to her.
That's awesome. But so when you came back from US, what was your goal? Like what was the idea? What Adam is going to do now in the UK?
Make money. You're out of school. We need to make money. We need to make money. We need to make money fast. Like we need to set a career. I mean, you say that. I say that because I'm in America. I'm getting a stipend. I'm sort of trying to build my career. So there's a direction. Now we have no direction. We need to gather resources so that when we have a direction, we can fund it. So I liked coaching. I still do. Helping people is to the core of something that I love. It's a passion. I can get paid for my passion. Okay, cool. That's gonna be our direction for now, Adam. Let's make some money. Let's coach some people. Um, got with a friend, set up a business in London coaching, and did that for right during COVID and the next year and a half.
Okay, so what made you step away from that business? Because your journey took another turn when you joined British Airways and began working in operations planning. So that's quite a departure from the world of tennis. And what led you to choose that?
So I had a slip disc at the age of 23, couldn't stand upright or walk straight. So I thought maybe, just maybe, coaching, you know, 10, 12 hours a day from like 8 to 8 sporadically is not the thing to do. And then I boiled that down and thought maybe tennis is not for me. Not just the coaching, but the tennis part. Because I've already got half a shoulder. My back already is bum. I can't deal with this sort of pain at the age of 40. Like I can't work and wake up in autumn and winter of England in the cold wearing two sweatpants and a coat with a glove, feeding and trying to volley, and my knees hurt, my back hurt. I think that, you know, I struggled with that idea. And so you're right, I had to make that tough decision to step away from sports entirely and find a new path.
So how did you navigate that transition?
It was really tough. Um, really, really tough because I like to think I'm quite an ambitious person, and I think when I was a kid, I'd set myself up to be have a certain pathway and have achieved certain things by certain ages, and having reset my career already away from America to England, and then moving from sports to corporate, that's already what, like, you could say I'm living my third life, trying to figure out where I'm going. It was really tough. I had to lean on my best friend to sort of give me a perspective of life, and that, that I've got more time than I think, then a lot of the pressure I'm putting on myself is non-existent, to take every step day by day, you know. not to rush things. So it was tough, and I think that's probably where I started to learn about reaching out for help. And then that's when I met my lovely girlfriend, who did help me as I navigated through these changes in my life. And now I'm in a good spot, and I'm proud of myself to come through this journey. And I'm thankful for the support that she's given me through this journey. Because I think now we have a nice little life together.
Awesome. So how do you enjoy your new corporate life? Like how does your life look like now?
I've taken one aspect of college sports, the early risers. So I wake up at 5, I'm in the gym at 6, can't get that out. Then I go from that to the office at 8. And then I'm inside, I'm in the warmth. I'm not outside facing the wind and the rain. And I'm really thankful for that, because there were just some lessons where I look at the forecast and I go, oh, there's a monsoon coming. Hey, do you still want your lesson? Yeah? Okay, I'll be out there. Stand in the rain. It's coming. And you just stand there playing tennis, just was swimming. And it slowly chips away at you. But now I can answer emails inside where it's warm and dry. It's amazing. So that aspect of it is great. I think also, if you look at it from a life perspective, I now have benefits because I'm not self-employed anymore. I get a pension. If I get sick, I'm still paid. Whereas if I'm a coach and I'm sick or injured, I don't get paid. So I see that as a positive, moving away from sports. Um, I do miss, though, being active, as more active, because I'm sat in a chair for 9 hours a day or whatever it is. But, it's pros and cons, different life. I am happy to be in this life, though.
That's good to hear. I mean, it's definitely good to look at the positives, but believe me, if you were in a place like, I don't know, Hawaii, I think the the forecast wouldn't be that important in your, life choice. But so after you left tennis and then you went to corporate, was British Airways your like first opportunity you took, or did you do some soul searching and, and how did you come to terms with this new chapter in life?
So again, my mentality was trying to make money fast. And when I moved away from sports, I reactivated my LinkedIn account, and recruiters had started messaging me asking if I wanted to get into recruitment. It's a quick way to make money. A lot of athletes who step away from sports, or even still in sports, use recruitment to fund their lives, their athletic life and corporate world and stuff. So I thought that'd be good. I mean, if there's a niche for athletes to do this, then sure, why not? I'll give it a go. Had an absolute terrible time in recruitment. Didn't like it at all. Wasn't for me. The organization was not amazing. Had a bad time. It's just not. And on top of that, it just wasn't a job that I liked. But learned that, with that being my first sort of like corporate gig, I had a lot of transferable soft skills that you learn from sports and college that can be successful in corporate. So I was confident that I just needed an opportunity. And I joined a graduate program with hopes and an aspiration that wherever my first placement was, they would enjoy my work so much that they would buy me out of my contract and keep me full time. That's what happened at BA. I was really lucky and fortunate that there was an opportunity and that there was a mutual interest between myself and the organization to entertain a full-time employment. And yeah, been at BA ever since, in a great team, learning a lot about the aviation industry. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
I'm so happy to hear that. So I I wanted to learn also, how do you find fulfillment now in your work compared to when you were competing or coaching?
It's a different sort of fulfillment. I like it because I think one of the aspects of coaching that I really liked is I felt like I was making a real change in people's lives because I would make them a better player. I could see them being enthusiastic about it, but also in between the tennis and your basket feeding, you get to talk and you get to understand them and their problems, and then you offer advice on that, and you build a rapport. And I like that. Instead of feeding them baskets, I'm teaching them how to do things and solve corporate issues, and then we would interact. And so I'm helping people in different ways. And so that's how I find fulfillment. I still feel like I'm making a positive impact on other people's lives. And I think it's really important whenever you find a job to find that fulfillment, because otherwise you're just hating every single day that you wake up.
So, do you still think of yourself as a tennis player at heart, or have you fully embraced this new identity in the corporate world?
I don't think I'm ever going to get that out of my head. I still coach a little bit here and there. I still watch it a little bit here and there. It will always be there. It's what I grew up as. And in a way, I still don't know what I want to do, but at least I'm finding something close. Yeah, I don't think I fully embraced it, but I'm doing my best.
You're doing great. So, looking back, how did you reinvent yourself after tennis? What challenges did you face in finding new identity outside of being an athlete?
I think the challenges I faced was trying to keep as much of my past as possible in my new life because they're my strengths, right? I've grown up an athlete. I've grown up being active. Can I now find a new identity away from sort of being an athlete and make money off of my athleticism? Toyed around with the idea of becoming a PT, toyed around with the idea of being some sort of coach, being something like that, all boiled down to the fact that I didn't like being self-employed because that's what tennis is and was to me. And so that meant that I really had to reinvent myself because I know I had to be a big corporate man where my strength and speed are not valued. But now it's all about how I can think. It's a bit different because instead of practicing forehands cross court, I'm now learning how to speak corporate lingo, where instead of giving someone a message as bluntly as possible, because that was my coaching philosophy for certain people, I now had to write a really fluffy email because I can't be blunt. It's not right. Yeah, it's tough. I think you can only do that through exposure and through actually doing it. And I'm thankful for the first, job that I had because it allowed me to make mistakes ultimately because I knew that I wasn't going to stay in that role. I'd try things that would work and wouldn't work, and it helped me reinvent myself that way.
Awesome. So, looking forward, what's next for you? Do you have other aspirations or goals now that you've found success in this new field?
Um, yeah, I think I want to try and climb as high as I can to there's no national championship, right, in corporate, but to climb as high as I can, I think would be good. I still like leading, I still like coaching, and obviously with more responsibility and a larger more portfolios that you look after, you have more of an opportunity to do that. So I still think I have an ability to learn and would want to do that as high as possible. I have actually picked up paddle. Um, I play it at my local club, and I captain the first team, and I played my first competition not so long ago. So reinventing myself in a way there because I'm playing a different racket sport.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of tennis players now are trying their skills in paddle tennis. Are you enjoying it so far?
I am. It's really fun. I think what it is different as well. Um, where I have a lot of transferable skills, more so than the corporate world, because it's a racket sport. Um, and it sounds really lazy, but you have to take somewhere between 10 to 12 steps to hit a really good forehand. In paddle, if I take more than 4 steps, the ball's probably out, which is amazing. I don't need to move as much. But yeah, no, I think it's really fun. It's really fast paced, and it's just something new.
So, do you have any hopes with that new sport, or just, doing it for fun?
We'll see. Um, I have a friend who wants to talk about a business venture, so maybe a side hustle. Um, Maybe I compete, but I think I'm so far away. I mean, I was so far away from being a tennis pro. I mean, paddle, like, come on, being a paddle pro, no way. But maybe I can get into something where I can coach and help people there, um, because yeah, I just love helping people.
Well, I would say don't sell yourself short because I know people who like practice once a month and they still qualify for a paddle European Championship. So, you know, you can do it. I believe in you.
Yeah, whilst there's people, if they need a doubles partner, connect the dots.
Oh yeah,
I'm happy to play. I work for an airline. I can fly there.
true that. So, what were some of the key lessons you learned during your journey of reinvention? Were there moments of, strategies that helped you keep moving forward?
I think that constantly putting my ego aside, which is tough for me, was a key lesson. Growing up, being the best kid in the area, being whatever seed, winning whatever tournament, winning a national champion, that means absolutely nothing in corporate. Age as well, people in sports, there's an age thing, like at basketball teams. People with the same initials, it'll go to the person with the who's older. You respect who are veterans on your team. In corporate, you have people who are older than you who can report into you. So you have to tell them what to do. You cannot have an ego. Um, and also, in line of that ego, you can always learn something every single day. And that's a lesson that you can take from sports, because in sports, you can be better, 1% better every single day. So in corporate, you can still learn something. It may not be the same sort of stuff, but you can still be better. I think those are the key lessons I've learned. Be coachable.
That's a great lesson. Very, very important. So, you've experienced a lot. You had your ups and downs, and you've went through a lot of transitions. So, if you could go back and give yourself an advice, to your younger self, what would you say?
I think it would be that. I think it would be to be coachable and take life a little bit more seriously than I did, because, like I said earlier in the podcast, I think I let opportunities go past me. I could have grasped onto them. I could have trained harder. I could have been a better leader. I could have been a better teammate. Could have been a better student. So take it more seriously. Time is precious. You only have 4 years in college for your undergrad. It flies by. 4 years sounds so long, but it flies by. Take every opportunity to be the best that you can. It may not mean that you win everything, but at least give it your best. Make those around you better. Be a better leader. Just do better as a whole.
I love that. I think lots of people need to hear that. I think, there's now kind of trend like, oh, I live once, I'm gonna do whatever. But at the same time, like if you're doing whatever, you still try your best. Like it doesn't mean half-ass it, just,
Yeah, yeah,
you know.
no, 100%. I think can be a sense of, you know, entitlement that you deserve X, Y, and Z because of this and that. But no, you have to work hard for it. there are no handouts in life.
Yeah.
I think I thought I was going to get handed, championships. No, you have to work. You don't deserve anything.
So since we're in the topic of lessons, I wanted to ask you, what's the most important lesson you've learned about resilience and uncertainty?
I think if we grab onto the latter about not resilience, sorry, uncertainty, I think I'll misquote him, but Seabum, Christian Bumstead, just won his last Olympia before retirement and mentions uncertainty, and I think it's true. And you have to embrace it. No one knows what's going to happen, but if you embrace it and do your best, that's all you can do. As I moved away from sports into an uncertainty of where I was going to work and what I was going to do in my life and my career, I think whatever step that you take, plant it firmly and plant it well. That's all you can do, right? Just walk in a direction. If it's the wrong one, just turn around, take a right turn, a left turn, and you'll figure it out. But just being confident in that. And I think with resilience, it's just always. I think they go hand in hand because you have to be resilient in uncertainty. You have to be able to progress into the unknown and get outside of your comfort zone to grow. So I think that's that. But also know when to bring it down. I think you touched on it. I think you raised a really good point. And when you asked me what help did I have or reach out for when I had my struggles, and instead of trying to be Mr. Resilient, Mr. Big Man, it should have been an opportunity for me to not be resilient or bring down those barriers and reach out for help. You can also quote it in that you are being resilient because you're trying to reach out for help. That's being strong. Yes, I fully get that. In my mind, I see resilience as a front, and so you want to bring that down to bring help. So I'm not talking down on people reaching out for help, but that's just how I saw it in my head.
Mm-hmm. So what would you say has been the most surprising or rewarding part of your journey since leaving tennis behind?
I think the most rewarding part is finding my feet and being able to provide back for my family now. I was able to, through my staff benefits, I'm lucky enough to fly my parents out in business class to places and provide them something that they would have never experienced before. We've come from humble beginnings of being in a village in Hong Kong, and I mean like literal rice fields with cows and stuff, real humble beginnings to sitting in an airport lounge, sitting in business class, flying from place to place. I feel really proud of myself to be in a position to provide that for my family. It's a good feeling.
I think you should definitely be proud of yourself. And I think a lot of us strive to be able to pay back our parents for all the sacrifices they've done for us. So I think that's really, really beautiful and really moving. And we are approaching the end. So I wanted to ask you one more question. So for
Loudly.
anyone who might be listening and feeling like they're at the end of their road in their career or dream, what would you say to them?
Is the end of that journey for now, and it is the beginning of something else. I think let's link that back to the uncertainty. Whatever end you think is coming, I promise you there are more doors that are open, and there are even more doors that you just need to find. There may be literally one conversation away, one interaction away from meeting someone that could completely change your world. Keep being strong and explore the world around you.
Awesome. Thank you so, so much. So, what we've learned today is that reinvention isn't just about finding a new job, it's about reshaping your identity, navigating uncertainty, and finding new ways to thrive, which Adam is doing great right now. And Adam, thank you again so much for sharing your story with us today. It has been really great learning even more about your journey.
No, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure to reconnect after some time and have a proper discussion with you about our lives.
Thank you. That's it for this episode of the Reinvention Game. Remember, no matter where you are in your career or life journey, it's never too late to find a new path. If you enjoyed this episode or have any feedback, please do not hesitate to leave a review or reach out on Instagram. Thanks for listening, and I hope you'll come back next week. Until next time, keep moving forward.